What's up, everybody? It's your boy Dariel from Knicks Digest. Welcome to Knicks Happy Hour. You guys know the drill. You guys know the vibes. Unfortunately, Chris and Matt were not able to hop on today's episode, but your boy is here, always holding it down. You guys know what it is. I felt like I haven't like been around as of late. Just work's been a lot. The last video I put out was earlier this week. I think it was on Monday where I was just after the loss to Cleveland last Friday, and then after the loss against Boston on Sunday, I made a video just talking about where I think the Knicks are as far as the landscape of the NBA. And yeah, it's I don't know. My feelings are still the same, but go check out that video. But as far as today's Knicks happy hour, there's so much to talk about. We got the potential of Mitchell Robinson coming back tonight, being in the lineup against the Memphis Grizzlies. Ariel Hukporti tearing his meniscus. We got the report. Was it yesterday that the Knicks were going to give up everything they had to get a Joel Embiid, and then we see the report that came out earlier today, I believe, of Joel Embiid being out for the rest of the season for the Philadelphia 76ers. There's just so much to get into, but before we get into our first topic, just remind you guys just to hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. That'll be a really big help. Also, throw in your questions, throw in your comments in the chat. Whoever's in the chat, salute to you. Thank you for tuning in. But yeah, throw in your questions, your concerns, your remarks. Throw them in the chat, and then I'm gonna get to them eventually. I just wanna get through a few topics before I jump into the chat. But yeah, let's start off with Mitchell Robinson. So Shams reported New York's Mitchell Robinson has been upgraded to questionable to play and will make his Knicks season debut as early as Friday against the Memphis Grizzlies. League sources tell ESPN Robinson plans to return during team's trip in Memphis and Miami on Sunday. All right, so the potential of Mitchell Robinson playing in tonight's game. This is something that all Knicks fans, we've been waiting, we've been wanting to hear, we've been wanting to see. And I hate to say it, but a lot of this season is, I don't want to say it's on Mitchell Robinson's shoulders, but seeing how we've been playing as of late, and especially going up against the better teams in the Eastern Conference, like we need someone to offer that bit of support towards Cat and Jalen Brunson, and more specifically Cat. It seems like he's wearing down. Right now, the Knicks, they have what, maybe like 25 to 30 games remaining in the season. But Cat's, I think, left knee, still dealing with that, the finger issues, sprained thumb, and I think the bone chip in his finger. I don't know. I think it might be safe to say that he's just wearing down. And then you get into the conversation of Coach Tibbs and the minutes that he's playing his guys. But that's Coach Tibbs' philosophy, man. He's gonna run his guys, the guys that he trusts, which is the starting five, and every one of his stops. Chicago, when it was Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, Carlos Boozer, Luol Deng, and then to Minnesota with Jimmy Butler, with Andrew Wiggins, with Cat, and then now with the Knicks. That's Coach Tibbs' philosophy, and he's not gonna change. And I watch and I listen to a lot of different podcasts. I listen to the Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce podcast. I listen to the Gills Arena podcast, and all of them say that Coach Tibbs, this is how he's been for the longest, and he's not going to change his philosophy. And it kind of sucks because there are some players on our team that durability is a little bit of an issue. OJ Anunoby, even though it looks like he's recovered from that sprained foot, OJ Anunoby is always going to be a question mark, especially around the time when the playoffs come around. Like right up until the playoffs, and even in the playoffs, look what happened last year when he tore or he really badly sprained that hamstring, and then he looked like a zombie in Game 7 of the second round against the Indiana Pacers. But Mitchell Robinson coming back, man. I just want to see Mitchell Robinson back on the court. I don't have any expectations of what he's gonna. I don't expect him to go back on the court and then obviously get like 15 points and 12 rebounds with 7 blocks. Like, no, the guy has missed like basically almost very close to a year of basketball after that Joel Embiid crazy takedown in the playoffs last year. He should have been thrown out, and I think he should have been suspended for a game. That's crazy. Like, you're on the floor. Mitchell Robinson, he's coming back from an injury. He goes up for a layup. Joel Embiid is on the floor, and he literally grabs his legs and he pulls him down. That's one of the most dangerous things I've ever seen in an NBA game. Mind you, in a playoff game, like, dude, he should have been suspended. He should have been ejected in that game, and he should have been suspended with no pay for the following game. But whatever. I'm not Adam Silver. I wish I was. I would have implemented a lot of rules. But yeah, as far as Mitchell Robinson coming back, man, I just want to see him on the court. And obviously, the earlier we get him on the court, the more time he's gonna have to gel with his teammates, get a feel for the ball, get a feel for the offense, get a feel for being that defensive anchor that he's always been, altering shots, blocking shots, cleaning up the glass. I just want to see him on the court so he has more time to develop that stamina and everything else that I said. And then when your mind starts to go and you start thinking about Mitchell Robinson being implemented into the offense, and then you start looking at the teams that the Knicks are going to be going up against, I'm not saying Mitchell Robinson is the end all be all as far as us going up against the Boston Celtics, as far as us going up against the Cleveland Cavaliers. I mean, this season has been rough. ESPN put out those posts on social media talking about against Boston, Cleveland, and OKC, we were 0-7. And then I think against Cleveland and going up against Boston, it was prior to the Cleveland game last Friday, or it was prior to the Boston Celtics game on Sunday, where they put up a post and I said that I think they said that we're 0-4. But basically, Mitchell Robinson is going to be able to help alleviate the pressure off of Cat. And man, Ariel Hukporti tearing his meniscus, that's crazy, bro. So now, Cat right now, if Mitchell Robinson doesn't play today, our only backup big that we have is Precious Achiuwa. And you guys know how I feel about Precious Achiuwa. But anyway, I'm not even going to get into that. But interestingly enough, Ariel Hukporti tearing his meniscus, that kind of got my mind to go to like, okay, is there any availability that the Knicks can do to make a move for a big man? And then I started going on social media. I started going to different Knicks reporters and NBA insiders. And then I went to Ian Bagley's account, and he tweeted this out about an hour ago. So something worth noting, due to financial restrictions, Dallas, because Moses Brown, who was with the Westchester Knicks, the Knicks G League affiliate, the Dallas Mavericks picked up Moses Brown because obviously Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, Anthony Davis, they all went down with injuries, so they had no big. So the Dallas Mavericks picked up Moses Brown from the Westchester Knicks, and they brought him to Dallas. And now that Ariel Hukporti is going to be out with that torn meniscus, the Knicks are looking to see if they could try and make some sort of move, which is where we are right here with the Ian Bagley tweet. Something worth noting, due to financial restrictions, Dallas cannot sign Moses Brown to a second 10-day deal. The center is among players on the Knicks' radar for 15th roster spot, per people familiar with the matter. Brown, who played high school basketball at Malloy, shout out Queens get the money all day, every day, you heard, spent time with the Westchester Knicks earlier this season. He is currently on a 10-day with the Dallas Mavericks. Moses Brown, he's 25. He put up 21 points, 11 rebounds, 3 steals, and 2 blocks in the 31 minutes that he played against the Charlotte Hornets G League affiliate. Dallas cannot immediately sign Moses Brown to another 10-day deal because it is hard capped at the first apron. Yeah, that whole first and second apron, that's like, oh my God, there's so many memes that like I could throw at you guys. There's Zach Galifianakis in The Hangover when he's playing poker, and you see all the equations just like floating through the screen. There's Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where he has like all these whiteboards behind him and he looks like he hasn't slept in about a week. So many memes that are running through my mind with the first and second apron. I'm not 100% clear on it, so I can't really break that down. But per Ian Bagley, literally he said that Dallas Mavericks cannot immediately sign Moses Brown to another 10-day because it's hard cap at the first apron. I was watching a game a couple of days ago. I was watching a highlight. And there was a big that I was watching on the screen, and I was like, the Knicks should look into his availability. And now I can't forget it. I can't remember it, and it got me so mad because the person that I was looking at, I don't want to say he's underrated, but he's good for what he is and what we need right now. We just need solid bigs. I want to say he was on the Wizards. And I'm trying to think of the Wizards' bigs right now, and I can't even think of it because they're the Wizards. Obviously, there's that. But maybe it'll come to me as I'm going about this live. But something else we should take note of is, yes, this is a Knicks happy hour. Obviously, this is a Knicks Digest YouTube channel. But on the happy hour, when we're all here, or if it's just two of us, or if it's just one solo guy, we'd like to talk about the news going around the NBA. And Shams tweeted this out. The 76ers, Joel Embiid, has been ruled out for the season. And that is, to me, kind of not a surprise. the Philadelphia 76ers actually should have started off the year by doing this. Joel Embiid is a very complicated man. He's a very complicated man, and the Philadelphia 76ers are a very complicated organization. Currently, they are sitting in 12th with a record of 20-38. They're 1-9 in their last 10. And last year, going up against the 76ers in the first round, Joel Embiid was playing on one leg. He was able to have a 50-burger ball, which just shows his talent and his skills. But as far as what does that mean for the Eastern Conference? What does that mean for the Knicks and the rest of the Eastern Conference? Well, the Philadelphia 76ers, they started off the year trying to do this experiment with Joel Embiid where he wasn't playing back-to-backs and he just had a lot of time to rest. And then Joel Embiid last summer, I think he came out saying that the main goal right now is to win a championship, which was kind of questionable because you could, from that statement, you can kind of like draw a conclusion that like, okay, so you've been trying to get your MVP, which you finally did. And then once you did, now you're trying to focus on a championship. There's just a lot of things going on with the Philadelphia 76ers organization. And I was always the one to say that after his playoff exit by the New York Knicks and Jalen Brunson, New York or nowhere, let's get it. But after they got eliminated, I said that like, man, I know he's in contention to play for the Olympics in Paris last summer, but I thought that he should have sat out. Him and Kawhi Leonard, they were actually part of the training camp and all that stuff, but I thought those two needed to sit out. And Joel Embiid's legacy is very interesting now, man, because when he's healthy, he is 100% top 3 player in the world. But the thing is, he's never healthy. And then you get into his whole habits of how he carries himself and just what he is. Is he really committed to the game? But as far as for the New York Knicks, that's one team that we weren't really worried about them because me personally, I was never really worried about the 76ers, even though Tyrese Maxey is going to be an absolute dog. Tyrese Maxey's a problem, bro. At the point guard position, specifically, I'm looking at Jalen Brunson, and that's going to be a matchup for the foreseeable future. So for the foreseeable future, we're going to have to keep an eye on Maxey's progression because he could be a problem. But as far as this season, the 76ers, in my opinion, were never really a team to worry about. But now this makes it official. Like I just said, they're 12th in the East, 1-9 in their last 10. They're going to be missing Joel Embiid. So what are they? Oh my God. Out of the play-in spot, the Chicago Bulls are 10th. Their record of 23-36. They are, 3.5, 26, 27. No, they're 2.5 games behind Chicago Bulls for the 10th spot. So, you never know. Maybe Joel Embiid being ruled out for the rest of the season, maybe that actually brings some camaraderie to the team. Now they don't have to deal with this, like, question mark. Is Joel Embiid playing today? Is he not playing today? Now that might rile up the team, and Tyrese Maxey may take that foot forward and be like, I'm the leader of this team now. This is my squad. You're going to run with me. So you never know. It might turn the corner for the best. Then you also got Paul George, bro. Paul George, dude, everything about that team is just like, what are you guys doing? Paul George, he made an announcement on his most recent podcast episode, Podcast P, even though it's a sideboard P, honestly, because he hit the sideboard of the backboard in the bubble. Paul, man, everywhere you look, there's a question mark. There's Joel Embiid. Is he playing? Is he not playing? Is Paul George committed to the game? Paul George, it looks like he's starting to be on the other side of his career, not playing well. There's questions everywhere you look. Tyrese Maxey calling out Joel Embiid about maybe towards the beginning of the season. Golly. But anyway, Paul George, he made an announcement on his more recent episode of Podcast P, his podcast, talking about that he's going to be putting the podcast game down for a little bit to focus on winning. And that's been a conversation within the NBA internet world. But for the Knicks, we're good. We don't have to worry about the 76ers. So Philly, Sean Bernard, even though we haven't really officially met, salute to you, my guy, because I know you're going through it. But as far as the Knicks right now, 38-20. We're 6-4 in our last 10. Still in third place. Boston is in second with 42-17. Boston is second seed, 42-17, 8-2 in their last 10, and then the Cleveland Cavaliers 9-1 in their last 10. One of those games is including the Knicks, as well as the Boston Celtics. One of those games is including the Knicks. And again, the pickup of DeAndre Hunter, Javonte Green, that's going to be kind of scary for the Knicks. Before I move on to the next topic, I want to just see if there's been any news announcing Mitchell Robinson, if he's going to be available for tonight, because the more recently he just said he's questionable. Um, I do see something about Ariel Hukporti. You said that he underwent surgery on his left knee already. And he said he's going to be reevaluated to a month and a half, to a month or a month and a half. He will be reevaluated. But the thing is, man, when you look at those like reports, you always got to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. A little bit of grain of salt. I can't even speak right now. But whenever they say that they're going to reevaluate someone in about 4 to 6 weeks, I feel like it's more like 8 weeks. 8 weeks, then they'll reevaluate the player, and then they'll take it from there. So honestly, if we're looking at around 2 months, and it's basically March 1st, that's gonna put us at May, and that'll be in the second round of the playoffs. So Ariel Hukporti, we might not see Ariel Hukporti until the second round of the playoffs. So that's gonna be interesting. So that's the update about Ariel Hukporti. I'm looking at a video that Stephen Bondy put up on his Twitter. Mitchell Robinson warming up. He's just in the paint doing floaters, but I don't see any actual report saying that he is available for tonight. Give me a second. No, I don't see anything. I don't see anything yet. Okay. All right. So you know what? Let me go into the comments. Let me see if you guys are there. Let me see if you guys have any questions. And then we'll move on to the next topic. Let's see. Charlie Knicks, salute to you, my guy. You are a Knicks Digest legend, a happy hour legend. Let's see what you got. Chris Connors, I just said, not yet. We don't know yet if he's going to play. Charlie Knicks, Mikal needs to average at least 15 to 20 points a game. 20 in my opinion, 4-week grad for him. His sole purpose, it would be once... it would be Mikal basically needs to be consistent is what Charlie Knicks is saying. Yeah, one of the now with the second half of the season, even though after the All-Star break it's a little bit over the second half, with 25 to 30 games remaining. This is time to really hit the ground running. And one thing that we desperately need, we need Mikal Bridges to hit the ground running. We need him to really start getting into those like anywhere between 18 to 25 points a game. That's where I think we need Mikal Bridges to be at. The game against Philadelphia on Wednesday, he had 28 points and 12 of 18 from the floor, 3 of 5 from three-point line, 1 of 2 from the free throw, 2 rebounds, three assists, and 2 steals, 41 minutes. That's amazing. I was only able to catch the second half of that game. I was at work. And I wasn't able to do a post game, but I was only able to catch the second half of that game. I think Mikal started off with 16 points in the first quarter, from what I remember seeing on social media. But from what I see from Mikal Bridges from that game alone, kudos to Mikal Bridges. This is what we want from Mikal. 28 is definitely a little bit of an admiration. I think from ever since the first game, again, what was our first game? Oh, Chicago. Ever since the first game post the All-Star game break, from that Chicago game up until the last regular season game, we need Mikal to be averaging anywhere between 18 to 25 points. Not averaging, but we need him to have a box score of 18 points to 25 points. That's where I think Mikal Bridges' sweet spot is. He just needs to. Some of it could be thrown on Coach Tibbs too with the implementation of the offense, because there are times where I do forget that Mikal's out there. There are times when I'm looking at Mikal in the corner, and then you get into the conversation of what we gave up for him. There's just a lot of noise around the whole Mikal Bridges things, the whole Mikal Bridges thing. But yeah, no, Charlie Knicks, I agree with you as far as like Mikal needing to really hit the ground running. Charlie Knicks has an important lineup question. Does Josh or Mikal come off the bench? Who would y'all prefer? Listen, we all here at Knicks Digest, and when Matt joins us on the happy hour, like that's the question that we always ask. That's the question that we're always bringing up is initially Mitchell Robinson is going to be coming off the bench. You can't just, if he's available today and he actually plays, you can't just throw him in the starting lineup. Like my philosophy is you need to ease him back into it, make sure that he gets his stamina back up and the feeling for the ball and the offense and the defense and all that stuff. So as far as initially, Mitchell Robinson should absolutely just be coming off the bench. But then the question, you got to bring up the question around playoff time. You could, of course, it could be dependent on matchup as well. But it's just a lot to take into account. What if the team is in a good groove? What if we find our groove? What if we find our rhythm? What if Mikal Bridges actually does what I think he should be doing? What if from here on out, every game he has anywhere between 18 to 25 points? And that'll be Jalen, Kat, Mikal, OG, and Josh. And those five have a good rhythm. I personally, I know depending on matchups, and that's something we need to talk about, the Detroit Pistons, because right now it looks like we're going to be facing off the Detroit Pistons, and Detroit is looking, they're not looking scary, but yo, they go from what? They won 22 games last year, I think, or 18 games, and now they're at 32 and 26. They're 8 and 2 in their last 10 at the 6th seed. So right now we'd be facing off against the Detroit Pistons, and I do not think that is an easy series, especially with how Cade Cunningham is playing. I do not think that's an easy series. That's not going to be a sweep. It's not going to be a gentleman's sweep. I think it could go 6. So this is what I was saying, like depending on matchups. I think Mitchell Robinson would need to start. That way, Cat doesn't have to go up against Jalen Duren, who Jalen Duren is, from what I've seen, he's had moments this season where it just looks like he's not committed. And that's what I've seen on the internet. That's what the internet chatter has been saying. I don't really watch a lot of Detroit Pistons games because they're not on national TV a lot. And of course, this is a Knicks Digest channel. But just what I see from my eye, whenever I see Jalen Duren, like he is always just catching lobs, looking like a friggin' athlete, like an incredible athlete. He's catching lobs. He's cleaning up the glass. He's a big body, agile, able to get up and down the floor. He's super young too. So I like everything I see from Jalen Duren. So Cat, I think that we would need Mitchell Robinson to go up against Jalen Duren. I know Paul Reed is on that team for the Detroit Pistons. I'm not sure what other big they have. Yeah, Andre Drummond, who's been I think of Andre Drummond, but he's with the 76ers right now. But anyway, to answer Charlie Nick's question, initially I think Mitchell Robinson should be coming off the bench, and then maybe towards the end of the regular season, maybe put Mitch in the starting lineup. But then in the playoffs, depending on matchups, it could be very interesting to see if Mitch starts or not. All right, what else we got? Nelly Nell, bring Mo Bamba home. I'm crying. Ooh, Carl Knight. Yes, it was Rashawn Holmes, bro. It was Rashawn Holmes. Rashawn Holmes was the player that I'm talking about as far as the big that I was watching, and I was like, I wonder if the Knicks would be able to look into him. Give me a second while I look up Rashawn Holmes' numbers. It's not going to be great because he plays for the Wizards, obviously. But so right now he's 77.1 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 1.3 assists in the 21 games that he's played, and he's averaging around 17 and a half minutes. He's averaging 1 block. Rashawn Holmes, Carl Knight, thank you for that point out, man. Rashawn Holmes is just, I like his activity. I liked him ever since he was with the 76ers. And I think from Philly, he went to Sacramento. And then from Sacramento, before he went to the Wizards, I think there was a stop in there or not. But whatever. I just like Rashawn Holmes. Like, I've always liked his aggressiveness. He's always looking to just dunk everything. He's an able body. He's not a horrible defensive player. He's not like the sexy name that a lot of people would be thinking to try and target. But again, at this point of the season, with Ariel Hukporti with the meniscus tear, Cat dealing with all his injuries, I know we can't trade for him. But again, the question I just wanted to bring up and just be like, why did the Knicks ever look into him? But yeah, Carl Knight, thank you, man. Thank you for pointing that out because I definitely would not have been able to remember that it was Rashawn Holmes. Let me go back into the chat. Let me see what else you guys got. Nelly now, Josh or Mikal to the bench. Interesting. Carl Knight, Mitch is coming back. Embiid and missing the rest of the season. Is this a coincidence? Karma is such a beep. Nelly no, the Cavs are loaded. Absolutely. Charlie Nix, do you guys think Mikal or Josh should come off the bench? Nelly no. Ariel, what are your thoughts on the Cap JB recent comments? Nelly no. I'm going to let you slide with that. The name is Dariel. But As far as JB's recent comments, I'm assuming you're just talking about what he said on this podcast, just about like how they've been playing against the better teams in the Eastern Conference. And I think his quote was like, "We need to wake up." Um, let me actually, you know what? I gotta change that up because that's gonna cover up the screen. Let me see if I can find it real quick because I want to get exactly what he said. Oh, and also, okay, the amount of times we've been embarrassed on national television should be a wake up call. So Nelly Nell, if that's what you want me to talk about as far as JB's comments, I mean, I'm glad he's saying it. It lets me know that they're aware of how they're playing. And then also Cat, I believe in one of the post game, it might have been after Wednesday's W against Philly in the podium, and he was answering questions for reporters. I think one reporter asked him is like, "How do you feel about the way that you guys have been playing against the better teams in the Eastern Conference?" And then Cat was saying like, "Yeah, like we're taking note of it, but it really just depends on how we're playing towards the end of the season." I mean, they're aware of it, which is cool, but then I would like for them to actually beat a better team, beat a good team. Um, so I'm happy that they're aware of it. I'm happy that they're not dodging the question. Jalen Brunson, they've been playing on national television and they've been embarrassed, saying that they need to wake up. I mean, Cad, I get what he's saying. It makes sense. And I do agree with him, but it's just a little discouraging as a Knicks fan. It's a little discouraging. And if you guys watch that video that I put up on Monday, and the title of it is called "It's Time," go watch that video. But listen, basically what I said is that I think the Knicks, we're just in a different tier. I think for this season, based off of regular season, the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics, they're in their own tier. They're the only two teams that need to be taken very serious as far as getting to the NBA Finals. The Knicks are in the next tier, in tier 2. They're the first team in that tier right after, and then Milwaukee Bucks coming right after us. But when you look at the reason why I have the Knicks on the second tier is because the Boston Celtics, they have everything, bro. They have all the bodies, they have all the players, they have the personnel to make Jalen Brunson especially just irritated and annoyed. If Drew is guarding him, they could switch and put Derek White. If Derek White is guarding him, they could switch and put Drew, or they could go to JB, they could go to Jason Tatum. Like, they have all the pieces, man. And then as far as their bigs, Al Horford, even though he's on the other side of his career and he's older, he can still hit that three. He has that veteran leadership. KP is a question with his injuries, but KP, when he's playing and he's healthy, the Celtics look unbeatable. And Sam Pritchard coming off the bench looks like literally the second coming of Vinnie Johnson. Some of you guys in the chat might be a little bit too young, but Vinnie Johnson, the microwave, played for the Detroit Pistons. I believe he wasn't MVP, but he played for the Detroit Pistons when Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars were the two leading players on that team. And his nickname was the microwave. And Sam Pritchard is looking like the reincarnation of Vinnie Johnson. They could just beat you in so many different ways. And then when you look at the Cleveland Cavaliers with the pickup of DeAndre Hunter, with the pickup of the Javante Green, like, you have players that can kind of do the same thing to Boston. And then on top of that, you got Evan Mobley taking the next step in his career, being able to not have a perfect shot, but being able to take it and spread the floor, spread the paint a little bit, because I feel like the biggest reason why we were able to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers in that playoff round, the first round a couple years ago, is because Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen is like it was just too clunked up, and they didn't have the right offensive scheme. And then JB or Bernie Bickerstaff, whichever one of the two, like, I don't think he's really that great of a coach. He's done an amazing job in Detroit, so maybe I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think the Cleveland Cavaliers should have done better. I think it definitely should not have been just a 5-gamer. I thought it was actually going to go to 6 or 7. But what I'm saying is that Evan Mobley has took the next step in his career, and if he keeps on getting better, he might end up being the best player in the league one day, a la Kevin Garnett. Those Kevin Garnett comparisons, man, they're real. They're absolutely real, and I can see it. The guy is a menace on the defensive end. And then you have another big man, Jarrett Allen, who all he's looking to do is just dunk on people, clean the glass, clean up, get rebounds, alter shots, block shots. Like, I think they just have all the right pieces this year, and they have that experience. So that's why I put the Knicks in the second tier. So that's everything I said about Boston and Cleveland. That's why I think it'll give the Knicks trouble. On the Knicks side, like I said, Jalen Brunson has trouble with like the guards that I said. Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum, Derek White, Drew Holiday, Cleveland Cavaliers, DeAndre Hunter, Javante Green, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland. And then Jalen Brunson has trouble with those type of guards. And then on top of that, you have Cat with his switches, and especially with the Boston Celtics, if they could switch the 1 through 5, they could put Cat in a switch and it's a wrap. Cat has a lot of trouble having to go out there and guard the 3-point line, which KP can do, which Al Horford could do, which everyone else in the starting 5 can do. So that's why I put them in the second tier. That was a very, very long-winded answer. But let me go back into the comments. Let me see what else you got. Charlie Knicks. Mikal lacks a lot of confidence. Still, it seems, or the pressure gets to him a lot. When he's comfortable, my God, he's hard to stop. Charlie Knicks, that boy Malik, and I think you're talking about Malik Beasley, who has been playing at an insane clip. Malik Beasley, going back to that matchup against the Detroit Pistons, man. I'm telling you guys, we got to keep an eye on Detroit, bro. If they keep gaining this confidence, and even if they keep moving up in the ranks, right now they're 6th. I thought they would be in the play-in this year, but I thought they'd be in the play-in like at a 9th seed or a 10th seed. I didn't think they'd get all the way up to 1 through 6. But Malik Beasley, man, he's been playing his ass off, bro. And it's funny how it's funny how the Lakers had him and he couldn't shoot when he was with the Lakers. And now that he's with Detroit, he's looking like the second coming of, I don't know, Reggie Miller. Malik Beasley, 16.7 points, 2.9 rebounds, 1.7 assists. And he played in 59 games. He's making 5.8, which is 6 field goals out of 13 field goals attempted. That's 44%. 3-pointers. He is making 4 3-pointers on 9.5 3-points attempted. That is 42.5%. 42.5%, bro. That's really good. Really good. Really good. So salute to you, Malik Beasley. I don't want to say for reigniting your career because I don't think your career was ever in question. But I didn't see this coming from Malik Beasley. So I'm telling you, man, we just got to keep an eye on Detroit. Carl Knight. I now see why you hate Precious. He's starting to get on my nerves. Yo, Carl Knight, thank you for helping me out with the whole Precious as to why I don't like Precious. But Carl Knight, if you could leave it in the comments, tell me what have you been seeing that he's been getting on your nerves. Shoquan, who's Sam Pritchard? I'm pretty sure that's his name. His last name is Pritchard, and I'm pretty sure it's Sam. I could be getting his first name wrong, but the 6th man on the Boston Celtics, that is from Shoquan. 6th man off Boston Celtics. He's a little white boy coming off the bench. He looks like he literally plays at the YMCA, but he is a bucket. So that's who I'm talking about when I say Sam Pritchard. Charlie Knicks, do you get to watch the new Roommates episode? I did not get to watch it. Charlie Knicks definitely appreciates Jalen and Josh's honesty. That's actually one thing that I watched. So the podcast that I watch the most, which I love, even though they're super annoying, they get to just basically yelling at each other. But I love watching the Gills Arena podcast. And on one of the more recent episodes, I think it was yesterday, a topic that they had was about the whole Paul George taking a step back from podcasting because he wanted to focus on playing basketball. And I kind of wanted to bring that to you guys here. Oh, Shoquan. Peyton Pritchard. Okay, you're right. My bad. It's Peyton. I don't know why I said Sam. I don't know. Peyton Pritchard. My mistake, but that boy's a bucket. Going back to the whole Paul George and the podcast thing. The reason why I'm bringing it up is because Josh and Jalen, they have their podcast, the Roommate Show, and one of the topics in the Gills Arena, they were arguing and yelling at each other, basically talking about like certain people think that having a podcast while you're an active NBA player is a bad move because you can't focus, you're not dedicated, and then the other half of the couch was like, it really doesn't mean anything, it's fine, you could do whatever you want to do because the NBA schedule is actually, you're so much on your own. And the only reason why I know this is because all ex-NBA players who are having their own podcasts right now and that are in the media, they talk about a lot about NBA life. So they basically said that when you're in the NBA, you're on your own. It's up to you to want to get better, to develop your game, to increase your game, your skills, your talent. So they were kind of going through the schedule of what the NBA life looks like for an NBA player, and that brings me to Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart. Like, it doesn't bother me that they have a podcast. I think it's cool. Um, Now, the question that I should bring up is, what if the Knicks were struggling? Would the fans kind of revolt? Because I feel like we're all okay with Josh and with Jalen Brunson having a podcast. I think we're all okay. We tune in, we actually pay attention, and we laugh, and we check to see their social posts. But what if it was the other way around? What if we were in the Philadelphia 76ers position? Everybody in the chat, I want to hear from you guys. What if we were in the Philadelphia 76ers position where we are just looking like an abomination? Would we just completely be having a revolt and telling Jalen and Josh to stop doing podcasting? Let me see. Hopefully, you guys will respond to that. Sho Kwan, forget him and the whole Celtics team. We will be fine once we have Mitch and another big to put Cat back at the 4. What do you think about bringing back Mook? Mook. Who are you talking about, Mook? What do you think about bringing back Mook? I'm having a brain fart, Shoquan. Who's Mook? Bring him back. While you guys respond to my question about Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart, I'm just gonna be looking to see if there's been any news regarding Mitchell Robinson. Oh, Marcus Morris, Shoquan. No, I'm good. What do I think about bringing back Marcus Morris? Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good on that. Also, while I wait for you guys to answer that question, I did also want to take a look at the only other meeting that we had this season going up against the Memphis Grizzlies. So we played them once this season and we won 143 to 106. John Morant did play. John Morant's having a weird season, bro. John Morant is having a weird season, man. Like, I don't know. There's just some times where he's playing and he's not playing, and I don't know the injury. I think he was out for a little bit of time in the earlier part of the season because of his shoulder. But as far as us getting that W against the Memphis Grizzlies, Mikal Bridges led us in that game with 28 points. Mikal Bridges led us in that game with 28 points, 12 of 19 from the floor, 2 of 6, converting all 2 of his free throws, 5 rebounds, 6 steals, 6 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. 34 minutes that he played. Behind Mikal Bridges was Big Cat with 24 points, 33 minutes, 9 of 17 from the floor, 2 of 5 from three-point line, converting all 4 of his free throws, grabbing 11 rebounds with 1 assist, 2 steals. So he had a double-double, 24 and 11. And then behind Cat, it was our captain, Jalen Brunson, 20 points, 8 of 14 from the floor, 4 of 6 from three-point line. He missed both of his free throws. He had 1 rebound. He dished out 6 assists with 2 steals in the 25 minutes that he played. Cat played 33. And then OG and Anobi had 15 points. 5 of 12 from the floor, 2 of 5 from three-point line, converting 3 of his 4 free throw attempts, grabbing 5 rebounds, dishing out 4 assists with 6 steals and 1 block in the 34 minutes that he played. Josh Hart looked like he had a bad game, but at the same time, it's like I don't think he was aggressive enough. Just looking at the box score, I don't know, maybe he got hurt or whatever, but he only had 4 points. He was 2 of 6 from the floor with 0 of 3 from three-point line. He attempted and converted no free throws. He had 10 rebounds. He dished out 5 assists with 1 steal in the 27 minutes he played. So that was a really bad game for Josh. I don't remember if anything actually happened as far as an injury or anything. In that game, coming off the bench, Precious Achua and the Deuce is loose. Both had 14 points. Deuce was 6 of 13 from the floor, 2 of 7 from 3-point line. He grabbed 4 rebounds. He dished out 4 assists with 3 steals, and he actually had a block in there in 24 minutes. Precious Achiuwa had 14. He was 6 of 9 from the field. He had 1 3-point make and attempt, converting 1 of his 2 free throws, grabbed 3 rebounds with 1 assist and 4 steals and 2 blocks in the 20 minutes he played. So Deuce and Precious definitely had nice outings coming off the bench. Behind Deuce and Precious, we had Campaign, 11 points, 4 of 10 from the floor, 1 of 6 from 3-point line, 2 of 2 from free throw, grabbing 3 rebounds, dishing out 1 assist, getting 1 steal in these 16 minutes that he played. Man, just looking at that box score, now, another reason why the Knicks, in my opinion, are in that second tier is just, dude, our depth, bro. Our depth is not great, man. And all the videos that I've been doing, I've been talking about Deuce, and I do like what I've seen from Deuce as far as like the confidence that he's playing with. I love seeing that from Deuce. I remember when I first started doing these videos for Knicks Digest, I came on and talking about how Deuce McBride looked like he was playing to not make a mistake. And now it's the complete opposite. He's out there with confidence. He's putting the ball on the floor, giving a nice little pullback, but in between the legs, taking it to the rack, dunking on people. Yeah, he doesn't look like that player anymore. But if Deuce is gonna be, our sixth man, I don't know if that's gonna be enough. And this is where the whole Mitchell Robinson thing comes into play, because if Mitch comes back and towards the end of the season he gets put into the starting lineup, or depending on the matchup that we see in the playoffs, the first round against Detroit, I think Mitch needs to start. So if Mitch is gonna be in the starting lineup, then Josh Hart, in my opinion, would be the one to go to the bench. So then when Josh Hart goes to the bench, Josh Hart is gonna be our sixth man. So then that's going to be able to add a little bit of depth to our bench. We got Josh Hart. We got Deuce coming off the bench. I like it. Am I in love with it? I wish we had a little bit more. But we got to roll with what we have. But I do like it. But yeah, man, our depth, bro. I just don't see it, bro. I don't see it. And I don't think Precious, I don't think Deuce, I don't think Landry, I don't think Cam, I don't think they're going to take another step. Deuce, I don't think he's already taken a step, but I don't think he's going to take that next step that we need. Like, he's not a Peyton Pritchard, bro. Like, Peyton Pritchard is a champion. He won the championship. So he's solidified. Actually, you know what? Let me see Peyton Pritchard's numbers in the finals last year, because I don't want to say he's solidified. Because if Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, if they did most of everything, then did Peyton Pritchard have to really help them in the finals coming off the bench? Give me a second. All right. Okay. So in game 1, 2, 3, 4. The Boston Celtics, didn't they beat the Dallas Mavericks in 6? It wasn't in 5. It looks, well, I mean, Peyton Pritchard it only has 5 games for Peyton Pritchard when I look up his numbers for the finals. Well, he averaged 3.5 points, 1.6 assists, 1.4 rebounds in the 5 games that he played in the NBA Finals. In game 1, he had no points. In game 2, he had 3 points. Game 3, he had no points. Game 4, he had 11 points, which obviously is his best game. 11 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. He was 1 of 6 from the floor. No, he was 1 of 6 from 3-point line. Jesus. He was 5 of 14 from the field. 5 of 14 from the field with 11 points, and he was 1 of 6 from 3-point line. Game 5, he had 3 points. So, I mean, Peyton Pritchard, he didn't have monster games in the 5 games that he appeared in the NBA Finals. But you could also say that now that they have the championship, now that they have the experience, Peyton Pritchard, and with the way that he's been playing this whole NBA season, you can say that the Boston Celtics, Peyton Pritchard knows what the Celtics are expecting of him, and Peyton Pritchard, I think, is going to be able to come through when it matters. So having said all of that, are we going to have the same confidence in Deuce the way that the Celtics have in paying Pritchard. That's just a question that I have, man, with the depth that we have. Let's see. I'm a complete psychopath. Cycle as in cycling. Cat's defensive troubles is holding Mikal and OG back. They're both two-way players, often playing 37 plus minutes a game, and they're being asked to 3 players that Coach Tibbs is going to rely on for an 8-man rotation. Anything beyond that, I don't think Coach Tibbs is going to really do. I don't think he's really going to try and implement any other player. Carl Knight, I think this is you answering the question when I asked you what about Precious makes what about Precious gets on your nerve? And you said Precious keeps on trying to ball handle, which is his bad. He sometimes stay in the corner for no reason and sometimes just keep on dropping the ball every time he catches it. Carl Knight, thank you for finally seeing what I see. I've been trying to tell everybody in the Knicks Digest, Chris, Matt, actually last week, Matt and I, we talked about that. And, oh, by the way, guys, I'm going to go until 4:15. So we got about 15 more minutes. So drop your comments, drop your remarks, and I'll try and get to them. But we're going to go for another 15 minutes. And then it's a wrap on this Dariel solo Knicks happy hour you heard. But last week on happy hour, it was just Matt and I believe. No. Last week was Chris, and the week prior it was Matt. So 2 weeks ago, Matt and I, we had a happy hour, and we were talking about Precious a little bit. And Matt brought up the topic. Is like, okay, we all understand that you don't like Precious, and you don't have any confidence in Precious. But who would you like to see in that place? And at the time, I couldn't give him an exact player of who I wanted to be in Precious's place. I actually went through the roster of the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. And at the time when I was looking at it, I couldn't really think of anyone. So Matt was basically saying, is like, okay, since you went through the whole roster and you see the players that other teams have, Precious is actually not a bad option that we have for his position. And I did agree with him, and I still do agree with him. But that doesn't mean that I'm happy with it. And that doesn't mean that I'm not frustrated with it. And earlier in this happy hour, we were talking about Rashawn Holmes and Carl Knight. I think you were the one that told me that I was thinking about Rashawn Holmes when I couldn't name the player that I was thinking about. I'd much rather have Rashawn Holmes than Precious. Rashawn Holmes is not going to try and bring up the ball. Rashawn Holmes is going to be able to catch the ball first and foremost. Rashawn Holmes is not going to have a boneheaded play and then being able to dunk on someone, and then the next 3 plays right after that is him not being able to catch the ball. It's him setting an an illegal screen. It's him stepping out of bounds. It's him missing the ball, missing an easy layup, missing a bunny at the rim. Like Precious, he has 1 good play and then he has 3 bad plays. It's 1 step forward. It's 1 step forward and then it's 3 steps back. I hate that. Like I don't like how you gonna be able to dunk on somebody and then the next 3 plays in a row it's you setting an illegal screen, dropping the ball, not being able to hit a bunny at the rim. Like yo, get out of here, bro. Get out of here, dog. Damn, I wish I was healthy, bro. I wish I was still balling. What else we got? A Gideon, salute. Charlie Knicks saying you've been curious on my opinion with the game against Boston, specifically our 3rd quarter run against them. I wasn't able to watch the game on Sunday. But from what I heard, we were getting blown out, and then in the 3rd quarter, we were able to cut it down to 4. So honestly, I can't really give you my opinion because I didn't watch it. But from what I've heard, I do like hearing that the Knicks were able to show some fight and being able to cut it down to the lowest to 4. I do like that, but I literally caught like the last 5 minutes and the game was already over, so I really didn't see anything. But I was disappointed because when I turned on the game with like 5 minutes left, I saw that we were going to lose. And everything that I didn't want to see is what I saw. I saw the score. I saw just the Boston Celtics just running out the time. And it's like, oh, okay, I think this game at some point, maybe the whole game was a blowout, or maybe at some point the Knicks made it interesting. And everything that I thought was going to happen basically happened. So I can't really dive into just what I saw as far as like rotations and the way certain players play because I didn't watch the game. But basically, it's just a little disappointing that we just caught 2 L's against the 2 best teams in the Eastern Conference. Gideon says that he would sign CP3, Seth Curry, and Wood. I'm assuming you mean Christian Wood or Tice, which is Daniel Tice. Carl Knight, Mitch is confirmed back. Well, let's take a look. Let me see. So Steve Popper, who's a Knicks writer and an NBA columnist for Newsday, I'm on his Twitter right now, and about a half hour ago, he posted, Coach Thibodeau said the trio Mitch, Cat, and Josh Hart will play as long as they come through pregame workout. And then a couple minutes later, he said, we watched Mitch and there were no issues, so as long as it gets cleared up the chain, the debut will be tonight against the Memphis Grizzlies. So that's the one. Let's see. Hey! About 7 minutes ago, Stephen Bondi, Mitchell Robinson, Karl Anthony Towns, and Josh Hart are all available tonight. It's the first time the Knicks are at full strength. So, there's that. Let me just check one more thing before I move on to the comments. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of. I'm still not seeing an actual like. Hey, there it is. Shams, baby. 10 minutes ago, Mitchell Robinson will make his Knicks season debut tonight in Memphis. There it is, folks. It's official. If Shams tweeted it, you know it's official. Big Mitch, he's coming back tonight, baby. We're gonna see him back on the floor. Hey, yo, Mitch, salute to you, my guy, for prospering through all these months, close to a year. Just for dealing with not being able to play. Salute to you. We all, as Knicks fans, we'd like to see you with the weight loss. Even though we want you to, me personally, I kind of want you to put down the phone a little bit. We don't need you to be on Instagram all day, every day with stories and all that stuff. Just put the phone down a little bit. I get it. You're super young. You're part of a different generation. But anyway, we're glad to have you back, bro. Hopefully, you're able to get through this game with no hiccups. So there's that. Let's see. Gideon says, sign TJ Warren. Oh, my God. Stop with the TJ Warren. Like, okay, he's part of the Westchester Knicks, and he puts up numbers. He puts up buckets in the G League. Can you stop? The bubble, as far as going up against NBA competition, the bubble was the only time he actually had a good look. And that was in the bubble. Like, oh, I don't even know. Whatever. Fakey fake. I hope Mitch doesn't limp like most 7-footers do sometimes. I can see a lot of Mitch haters come out of the woodwork. Marvin LaSure, Knicks don't need TJ Warren, just Moses Brown. Gideon, I wouldn't mind Moses Brown. JM3, what about Brunson's defensive troubles? I actually talked about that a little bit earlier, specifically going up against Boston, how they could switch and put Jalen Brunson in a lot of trouble. And also Cat, specifically with Boston Celtics, they could make Cat switch onto JB, onto Derek White, onto Drew Holiday, onto Jason Tatum. That'll be a problem. So I did talk about that a little earlier. Marvin LaSure says Precious is better than TJ Warren or Christian Wood. I do believe that Christian Wood is. I don't know. He's been injured for like the last 2 years. He's one of the. Every time the Lakers play, he's always on a bench. Like, yo, what's going on? What's the exact injury? But even when he was healthy, like I don't. He gives me a little bit good numbers, bad team kind of vibes type of player. If you feel what I'm getting at. Nelly Nell, Precious takes plays off sometimes. Bays, Mitch confirmed playing tonight. Yo, everybody in the chat, sorry, my eye was itching. Everybody in the chat, throw up an orange heart and a blue heart because Mitchell Robinson is back, baby. Throw up an orange heart and a blue heart because Mitchell Robinson is going to make his season debut tonight. Don't expect 20 points, 15 blocks, 15 rebounds. Let's just get Mitchell Robinson just back on the floor, just getting his wind up underneath him, getting some rebounds. Everybody in the chat, throw up an orange heart, throw up a blue heart because Mitchell Robinson is back, baby. Let's get it. Bays, thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Is there anything else that I wanted to talk about? Damn, Shams tweeted it. I feel I feel like Nelly Nell salute. I feel like the song in the background is like "I'm coming home" is in the background in my mind because Mitch, we just haven't seen Mitch in a Knick uniform on the floor in so long. So that song is just playing in the background. I guess one of the last things I'll say, with around 5 minutes left, I did a video during All Star break talking about the next 10 games for the Knicks. And we're starting with Chicago, Cleveland, Boston, Philly, Memphis, 2, 4, that's 5. Miami, 6. Golden State, 7. LA, 8. Clippers, 9. And Sacramento, 10. So right now, we've played 4 games and we're 2-2. We got that W against Chicago, and then we took back-to-back losses against Cleveland and Boston. And then we got that W against the 76ers. So we're 2-2 in the last 4 games. Tonight against Memphis is definitely going to be interesting. We'll see. We'll just see how it turns out. Going up against Golden State on Tuesday. So that's 4 days from now. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yeah, that's 4 days from now. Yo, Golden State, bro. They're going to be a problem, dog. That Jimmy Butler pickup, dog, is very interesting. 32-27 right now in the 7th seed. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Yo, I think that Jimmy Butler pickup was super underrated and slept on. I mean, obviously, the Luka trade was the talk of the NBA, so I definitely respect it. But I think that Jimmy Butler trade could really make some noise, just on the mere fact of just the basketball IQ that's on the floor now with Draymond, Jimmy, and Steph Curry, specifically Draymond Green. Like, I don't think Draymond Green gets enough of his flowers. He is one of the smartest basketball players I've ever seen in my life, especially with the chemistry that he has with Stephen Curry. I remember watching when they went up against Portland. I don't know if it was in the Western Conference Finals or maybe in the first round in one of the playoff series, but Draymond Green, the chemistry with Stephen Curry, I've never seen anything like it, where he catches the ball and he literally places the ball behind him and he's already setting the screen. Like, oh, it's something, I wish I knew exactly what game it was, but it's just something that I've never seen of the chemistry, the type of player that Draymond and Steph Curry have. But I was just going through the standings, and then the Golden State Warriors really popped out to me. I think they could right now. They're only a half game back from the 6th spot, and the 6th spot is the Clippers with a record of 32-26. The Clippers are 4-6 in their last 10, but they're only a half game back to 6. And I absolutely think they will get into the 1-6 seed. I don't know how high, how low they will be in it, but they'll definitely get 1-6. Let me go back into the chat. Let's see. Monkey wrench built. I'll be happy for Mitch to not get hurt. Facts. Bays would have been so nice for him to come back for a home game and see a tribute for him. True. Charlie Knicks, first bucket is going to be a lob. It should be a lob because we can't throw Mitch the ball on the block because he has no offensive moves, which is one of the most irritating things that I have with professional basketball players. Charlie Knicks, oh man, against the Lakers, and he has 4 fire flame emojis. Monkey wrench built. That would set a good tone early. I'm assuming you're responding to Charlie Knicks' response saying that his first bucket is going to be a lob. Yo, guys, we've reached the hour mark. You know what? I'm going to go for a little bit more. You know what? Just because Mitch is back, baby. Mitch is back. Let's go for another, maybe 10 minutes. Celebrate Mitch. Everybody in the comments, let me know what you guys think. With Mitch back, do you think that automatically puts us back into the first tier with Boston and Cleveland? Or do you guys think like me, and even though Mitch is back, the Knicks are still in the second tier after the first tier of Boston and Cleveland? As you guys respond to that, let's see. Nelly Nell, the way Jimmy, Steph, and Draymond are playing is exciting to watch. I can't wait for Kuminga to enter the fold. But as you guys respond, we're going to go for another 10 minutes. Let me know what you guys think. Mitchell Robinson finally being back, does that automatically propel us into the same tier as Boston and Cleveland? Or are you guys with me that even Mitchell Robinson coming back, we're still in the second tier? Because let me just give you my idea as to why I still think we're in the second tier. Mitchell Robinson coming back, and even when he's healthy, even when he has his stamina, when he has his wind up underneath him, and he has the feel for the game, and he has all the defensive schemes and all that stuff, we got to remember, like, he hasn't played with Cat. He hasn't played with Mikal. So that's something else that we're going to have to implement Mitchell Robinson in. We got to get him to play with Cat, to play with Mikal. That's just something else we got to deal with. But we have enough time until the playoffs. But basically, the reason why I'm saying that Mitchell Robinson coming back does not propel us into the first tier with Boston and Cleveland is because Mitchell Robinson coming back is not going to fix the problems that Jalen Brunson is going to have going up against Boston. Mitchell Robinson coming back is not going to fix the problems that Cat is going to have going up against Boston. Cat, one of his defensive flaws is switching, and Boston can literally put Cat in every switch 1 through 5. KP, set the pick, switch, live behind the 3-point line, make Cat come out to guard and contest. KP could put the ball on the floor. Like, specifically going up against Boston, it's a nightmare, and Mitchell Robinson doesn't fix those problems. Mitchell Robinson is going to be able to help Cat not have to just be the sole big man, the sole defensive anchor, blocking shots, altering shots. Like, that's a lot to put on Cat. And we're also asking Cat to have 20 to 25 a night. That's a lot to put on Cat. So it'll help. That's what Mitchell Robinson will help with Cat specifically. But again, Mitchell Robinson coming back, I don't think is gonna help. I don't think it's gonna fix Jalen Brunson's problems against the Boston Celtics, or Cat going up against the Boston Celtics. Give me a second. My bad. I think my computer froze or whatever. So sorry about that. But yeah, no. I don't think Mitchell Robinson is gonna fix that problem going up against the Boston Celtics, which is why I don't think that Mitchell Robinson coming back is gonna propel us into that first tier. And I literally just talked about Boston. Now, what about Cleveland? Mitchell Robinson is gonna be able to help Cat going up against Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen, absolutely. So we're gonna have another big that Cat is gonna be able to tag team with and go up against Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley. But our problem is more so on the perimeter. We have OG to slow down the best offensive player on the opposing side. We have OG and we have Mikal. But Cleveland they just have so many weapons, man. And Boston has so many weapons. It's just gonna be interesting. So that's me personally. That's why I don't think that Mitchell Robinson fixes everything. I think it's just a second tier. So let me see. Mama say, Mama Kusa. Mills _711. Mitch starting tonight? ? I haven't seen anything personally about it. Me neither. I just said that he's available. I didn't see if he's starting or coming off the bench. I'm assuming he's coming off the bench, which should be which should be the only option. Monkey Wrench built. Hell no, not first tier. I'm glad me and you agree on that. Sho Kwan. It's funny how Mitch makes his debut on the day Joel Embiid gets shut down for the rest of the year. Monkey Wrench. Mitch will allow our guys to play real defense and not this slack off half help defense. Mills _711. Knicks same tier if everyone comes back healthy within a few weeks. All right. I respect your take. Monkey Wrench. Our guys got to show their perimeter defense abilities against elite shooters like the Celtics. Absolutely. Nelly, no. If they can figure out how to guard on the perimeter, when Mitch gets back, we can turn things around in time for the playoffs. I mean, especially against Boston and Cleveland, man. That's gonna be it. Boston is what I'm worried about, bro. Boston, I have a little bit more confidence going up against Cleveland. I'm not saying that I think we're gonna absolutely mop them. I'm not saying that we're gonna baptize them. It's gonna be a competitive series with Cleveland, but I have a little bit more confidence in us beating Cleveland rather than the Boston Celtics. Like, if we see Boston in the semifinals or in the Eastern Conference Finals, I hate to say this, guys, but my heart is obviously going to go with the Knicks, but my mind is going to go Boston. They just have too many weapons, bro, and they're not talked about. And dude, that Boston thing is crazy. Monkey Wrench Bill. Respectfully, we are still a second round exit until we can prove that we can guard the perimeter. So, damn, second round exit, huh? Second round exit, guard the perimeter. I mean, that's why we have OG and that's why we have Mikal. It's just Boston and Cleveland, bro. I talked about this with Chris last week on Happy Hour. The reason why I'm a little bit more confident with Cleveland, um, Cleveland, they're still going to be depending on Ty Jerome, Sam Merrill, and Dean Wade. The pickup of DeAndre Hunter and Javonte Green were great pickups, but I still think Ty Jerome is still going to get minutes. He's still going to get a lot of burn in the playoffs. And between Sam Merrill and Dean Wade, I don't know who plays more, and I don't know if either one of those guys are going to get serious minutes in the playoffs. But Ty Jerome being an essential part of your team, please, like, no, I don't think no. I'm not trusting Ty Jerome. Cool, you have a great regular season, bro, but it's regular season. Talk to me when the playoffs come, when April come around, when it's time to put on the shoes and it's time to perform. When you have all the pressure on your shoulders, dog. Talk to me then. And I don't think Ty Jerome is gonna come through. Whatever. Bays. I think Mitch helping out on defense will allow Mitch and OG to do more on the perimeter. I think you mean Mikal. Millie Boom. Millie Boom. Who thought the Pacers would be in the Eastern Conference Finals last year? Mitchell Robinson 100% makes us better. Yo, Millie Boom. I never said that it doesn't make us better. Of course it makes us better. I just don't think it automatically puts us as one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference. I think Boston is number one because they have the experience, and I don't care what Cleveland Cavaliers' record is. It's the regular season. You still got to prove it in the playoffs. I think Boston is number one, and I think Cleveland is number two. So I'm not saying that that Mitchell Robinson coming back doesn't make us better. I just don't think it makes us better than those teams. Yeah. But guys, I think that's a wrap. I think that's a wrap on Happy Hour. This has been another edition of Happy Hour. Dario holding it down solo. You know what to do. Put it on my shoulders. Put it on my back. Because I'm from New York all day, every day. Even though I'm in LA, I'm always repping New York. Always repping where hardly home, but always repping. You heard? Always and forever. New York and forever. New York or nowhere. New York forever. Queens get the money. Queens get the money long time, no cash. You guys know the drill. But yeah, that's it for today's episode, man. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for being in the chat, dropping comments, questions, letting me vibe off you guys. I will be coming out with a post-game video. It'll be Chris and I, or it'll be me. Stay tuned for the post-game video against the Memphis Grizzlies and what I saw. And hopefully I get to say really good things about Mitchell Robinson. Hopefully he has a couple moments where it gets me encouraged. So make sure to tune in to the post-game video for the Memphis Grizzlies tonight. But until next time, you guys know the drill. You guys know the vibes. Jalen Brunson for all the MVPs. The deuce is loose for co-MVP. OG Anunoby, you've had a speedy recovery, my guy. It has been very surprising. I'm glad you're out there on the floor. Taj Gibson, it's always love. We miss you. Taj Gibson for president. And it's Queens, baby. Queens all day. Queens get the money. You heard?